Can you really find joy after horrific loss? Say you lost a child, or you're going through a divorce, or you lost the dearest on earth to you. Is there any possible way really to find joy and happiness again? Three crucial points that if you do these three things, if you get these three principles, you will be in a better position to find hope so that you can live forward with joy and happiness and meaning again in life, no matter what you went through. And at Spark of Life, we've done about 111 retreats, and our grievers have taught us so much. And this past weekend, we had a young lady who had lost 3 children at 3 different times over the last 5 years. We'll call her name Mary, and she, along with the 11 other grievers, taught us something that we already knew but was reinforced. I want to share these 3 vital points to you today that, believe me, will help give you hope. Important. Point number 1 is, we've got to really see that there's nothing wrong with us as grievers. And I guarantee you felt something is wrong with you, right? You're experiencing this horrific loss, and it just slings you into the pit of the grief, and it starts to hurt other relationships in your life, right? And it hurts your job performance. Of course it does. It helps you, you think, what in the world is wrong with me? Have you ever thought something's wrong with you because somebody said it's been a year, you need to get over it? Or better yet, you see other people with loss and they seem to be doing better than you. And you say, what in the world is wrong with me? In this retreat last weekend, 2 weeks ago, we had 11 grievers, and this one woman, as I told you, had lost 3 children over 5 years. And so on Thursday, when she told her story, she was in the pit of grief, and she was thinking, I'll never get out there. What's wrong with me? And as we talked on Thursday night, we said, nothing's wrong with you. You're grieving, and there's nothing wrong with you. You have a broken heart. You have every right to go to the pit of grief and not listen to what others are saying to you about you should be at this point now, or look at this person, or whatever. Comparing our losses to others and our recovery to others does nothing really positive at all. Your grief is your grief. It hurts. It stinks. It sucks. Point number 1, there's nothing wrong with you. You're grieving, and you got to give yourself permission to feel bad. And yes, it's okay to feel hopeless, and it's okay to feel helpless. And those feelings of hopelessness and helplessness does not mean you're hopeless and helpless. It means you feel it. You feel that emotion of helplessness, don't you? So at that retreat, the lady who had lost 3 children felt helpless and hopeless. Could you blame her? Could you blame her? So on Thursday, it's dark. On Friday, some light came, and that leads us to our second crucial point. We have 3 crucial points. First, there's nothing wrong with you. You're grieving. Normalize your grief. Second, you're not alone. Almost all grievers I know at some point feel all alone. We hear this at our retreats all the time. This woman said the same thing. Other grievers at the retreat said exactly the same thing. Everybody else's life goes on. And I lose a child, or my husband divorces me, or my wife leaves me, or my husband has Alzheimer's, or I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, or whatever it is for you. Everybody else's life seems to go on. Some people are affected by your loss for a while, but basically everybody goes back to living, don't they? And you don't. And it's almost like you're being left behind in this thing of life. So here's what we hear. Point number 2, you feel all alone sometimes, and we want to assure you that that feeling of loneliness is natural and normal. How else could you feel for a while? It's okay to feel that. But I want you to know you're not alone, but I know you feel alone. And those are 2 different things, right? So you're not alone. Now, Spark of Life's mission is to walk beside people who are in grief to help them know that there's hope, that they can find hope. You can empower yourself to find hope because you have it within you to do something about this grief effect on your life. You don't want to hurt other relationships in your life, do you? And part of the problem of staying in the pit of grief, you have to go there because it's natural and normal. You don't want to stay there. You want to start emerging from the pit, but at your pace, at your time frame. Nothing wrong with you. And even though you felt alone, many of you, you're not alone because there's organizations like Spark of Life, there's support groups, there's friends, there's some friends that will join you in the pit and walk with you, not trying to fix you. Most friends try to fix you. I'm sorry about that. I don't like that. I've given up trying to fix people. I want you to empower yourself so that you can avoid the pitfalls of staying deep in the pit, like broken relationships that you want to keep, unproductivity at work, not doing the things that you used to do that you loved doing, like from playing golf to from dancing to playing golf to going to the ballet to having friends over and laughing again. You don't feel like doing any of those things for a while. But you're not alone. You do have people, and you have us, and we want to walk beside you. And so at our online grief courses and our coaching, grief coaching, you can connect with us. Coming to a retreat, a virtual retreat coming up in December. And so we want you to know that you're not alone, even though you feel alone. So at this retreat, the woman who had lost 3 children, and she heard everybody else's story, but the smiles start to come a little bit because now she's in community with others that are there, and a little light starts to creep in, and hope starts to come a little bit stronger than it used to be. Thursdays are always dark at a Spark of Life retreat. Fridays get a little lighter. Then Saturday, because the group bonds together and people realize they're not alone. You don't have to fight this battle alone. Yes, sometimes you need to be alone. I get it. But there's help. And that's what Spark of Life wants to do. Walk beside you and help you see the power within yourself to get up and live forward with your pain. We can't take away your pain. What's that third crucial point? The third crucial point is so powerful, but we don't start there, but we've got to kind of get there. And it's this, that when I'm deep in the pit of grief, every focus is on my loss. That's natural and normal. That causes some to feel deeply alone. So these first 2 points, there's nothing wrong with you that needs to be fixed. You need to grieve. Second of all, you're not alone, though you feel alone sometimes. And the third thing is, there are other people that need my help. Now, what does that mean? That means that the natural course of events, if we allow ourselves to be in a position to do this, and you really are, and you've already done this, you just don't think you've done it because you're so much in pain, and I get that. That's called grief. But at a Spark of Life retreat and other groups, what happens is you start to realize other people have problems too, and their grief has debilitated them as much as your grief has debilitated you, even though they're different, right? There's different losses out there. If I think my loss is the worst in the history of the world, I might not ever give myself permission to start getting the fresh air out of the pit. I might stay stuck. If you're filled with guilt, you might stay stuck because you don't think you deserve to get out of the pit. Getting out of the pit is not getting out of the pain. Getting out of the pit does not get us out of grief. Grief still comes in waves, but I'm climbing out of the pit. And as I look at other people, so I'm going to give you an example of our retreat. So here's this lady who had lost 3 kids, and she's paired with somebody else who has different loss, and they start to talk, and they start to do the exercises together. And then on Sunday, light comes, and on Sunday, we affirm each other. And this lady who had lost 3 kids is affirming somebody else who has a completely different kind of loss. So what happens to her hope factor? She comes in thinking something's wrong with her. Nothing's wrong with her. But then the third point, as you start to look at others, hear their stories and say, hey, I'm here for you. Your focus isn't all on your loss. The focus starts a little bit gradually at first to be on somebody else and their pain. It doesn't take away my pain. It doesn't propel me totally out of the pit. What it does, it helps me realize I'm not alone. There's nothing wrong with me. See the first 2 points. And that I now can help other people in whatever situation I'm in. I don't have to start Spark of Life to do this. I might just need to be a friend to somebody. And this happens, right? I start to think every now and then at first of somebody else. For a while, I don't think of anything but my loss because that's the nature of grief, deep grief. And that's okay. But gradually, I realize I'm not alone. And then I realize maybe somebody needs my help. And it's amazing what happens. It gives me the strength to get up with my pain and the heaviness of my heart and to not quit. To get up, wash my face in the midst of my pain, and get on with life. But then, see, I'm still in grief, and that's okay. And I'm not out here, everything's great in my life. We're not talking about that. We're talking about small steps that help me to a healthy recovery, where my other relationships that I want to keep on this earth are not being hurt, where I can gradually return to those things that I used to do that I love doing with my pain that I have, and we establish actually a new relationship with grief, a grief that doesn't debilitate me forever, but a grief that still shapes me, changes me. So we want you to subscribe and please hit the bell and like this video. And remember this, at Spark of Life, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. And you can start to focus a little bit more on some other people and their problems while still working on your problems and being in grief. It's okay to grieve. I'm so sorry for your loss. So check out sparkoflife.org. At Spark of Life, we want to help you find hope after loss.